You know, I did the rankings for NBA 2K soundtracks back in like June, not as an actual video, but the actual groundwork behind the video. I just picked the end of one evening and sat down on Spotify, went through, well, Spotify and YouTube actually, went through every 2K soundtrack, listened to all the songs, and for each game I wrote down everything that I remembered really loving listening to while I was going through the menu at the end of games. Basically the songs that I could readily identify these 2Ks by, because let's be real, that's what really makes a strong 2K soundtrack, is when you go, hey, that song's from NBA 2K whatever. So yeah, on this episode of NBA 2K10s, we are going to finally be ranking the soundtracks, which is something that I didn't do through the actual 2K series when I was ranking the 2Ks. Of course you will understand why. I cannot evade copyright with this type of video. I cannot play you the songs, but I think that doesn't really matter, because if you actually played these 2Ks, then you readily remember the soundtracks and you remember what you love. I can probably play some instrumentals though. On one last note, hopefully you've already figured out that a list like this is 1000% subjective. So make sure to leave your list and how you rank these in the comment section. I doubt any two lists are going to be exactly the same. You may hate what I like and vice versa, so without further ado, motherfuck NBA 2K15 soundtrack. That is easily number 10. NBA 2K15, I distinctly remember, well, for a lot of these games throughout the 2010s, I can kind of remember cutting the soundtrack off throughout the year, just getting tired of the songs. That's why I kind of appreciate in NBA 2K20 that they are going to constantly update the track list. I think that makes a lot of sense with today's capabilities. Anyways, yeah, that soundtrack done by Pharrell, it was fucking horrible. Doing the work for this video in June, there was two songs that I enjoyed listening to in NBA 2K15. Those were Drop It Like It's Hot with Snoop Dogg, because that's a song from my childhood. That's like one of the first songs I ever loved. And then Aerosol Can, which I found through 2K15. I had never heard it. I just liked that song. I didn't even love it. Those are the only two. Everything else, throw it in the garbage. Actually, okay, my bad. As I'm doing one more check, I didn't realize Planet Rock was on here, the same opening song to NBA 2K7. That was in 2K15? I don't remember that at all. Okay, so 3. I definitely fuck with Planet Rock, but I distinctly remember also hearing some of Pharrell's songs on this track too, and it was so annoying. It's one of the main reasons I just cut it off. For number 9, let's crank it up to the current day with NBA 2K19. And yes, right now I can tell you, through the year of NBA 2K19, I cut the soundtrack off. I counted 7 songs when I went through and listened to the actual soundtrack individually that I, would actually vibe to, I guess. But the thing is, as I am looking at the list right now, because again, I did this in June, I don't remember any of these songs off the top of my head, like at all. None of them ring a bell. The only one that does, and I actually just had to go add it, because for some reason it wasn't here, that would be Sicko Mode. And Sicko Mode was popular when 2K19, dropped around that time, so it was kind of like dipping right into pop culture. But yeah, it did not take me very long to get tired of 2K19 soundtracks. I hit mute a while ago. At number 8, we were temporarily let into the mind of LeBron James. I'm pretty sure he put this soundtrack together and it was just based off of songs that he likes, songs that he probably listens to pre-game and all that to get hype. And there was some real nice ones on here. A lot of popular ones as well. The popular ones were Not Afraid, Radioactive, All of the Lights, and Started from the Bottom. So with us being familiar with some of the songs on here, of course it made it a vibe to just kind of cut this on. But then there was some I hadn't heard before the game as well, like Lost, Paradise, Who Do We Think We Are, and check this out, right? Do y'all remember listening to Almost Home? Almost Home was a banger, and I swore for the longest that dude was Rick Ross. Go listen to Almost Home right now after this video. Don't cut my watch time. Go type in Almost Home. That, I swear to God, it sounds like Rick Ross. Now, it's not Rick Ross, it's Sean Cotton, but you can't tell the difference. Yeah, 14 had a nice soundtrack, and overall I counted 8 songs that I really cared about off that game. Moving on to number 7, I would place NBA 2K17. Now again with this, they dipped into a lot of popular songs, so you had Pop Style with Drake, Club Going Up, Me, Myself, and I. And then there was that song Gold. I even think that was 2K17's theme song. Yeah, that song got you hyped as fuck, I'm not gonna lie. If I actually played NBA 2K17 like that, that'd get you hyped to go online and take some heads off. But yeah, I have a note here about that song Come and See Me. The song by Party Next Door. Why is that in an NBA game? It's a dope track, don't get me wrong, it's a vibe, but why is that on a 2K? I'm getting ready to go hoop with the homies or play somebody online. It's a basketball game. Why am I vibing out? Why am I getting emotional? And then for Pop Style, I mean, I like Pop Style, it's alright, but they could have picked a better Drake song, bro. That bar he had in there, he said, got so many chains, they call me Chaining Tatum. Oh man, I actually like Drake, but that shit was trash. At number 6, because you cannot have a soundtrack that I muted in the top 5, I'm going to go NBA 2K18. And it's funny because throughout the year, I muted it. I distinctly remember muting this soundtrack, but when I went through and actually did the rankings and really paid attention to the songs that I liked, I came out with 11 here. Now, of course, it could all be relative to how many songs are actually in each game. I did not pay attention to that part, but this actually had a song that I listened to outside of NBA 2K, which I forgot to mention that. A lot of these games did provide songs that I went and actually downloaded. And so that's what makes a 2K soundtrack even stronger to me, is if I'm listening to it in the gym or whatever, the more songs like that, the better the soundtrack is. And one I took from NBA 2K18 is Wrote My Way Out. That's a fucking banger. Wrote My Way Out is dope. Of course they had Portland on there, but again, that's just like a super popular song. It was a super popular song already. That's almost like cheating when they do that, but I mean, who cares, right? If you like the song, you like it. I didn't even like Uzi. I still don't really listen to Uzi like that, but Do What I Want, of course. Who doesn't like that song? Coming Out Strong. Yeah, those are just the ones that I recognize, but I do have 11 here. Alright, now let's start talking that shit because we're in the top 5, and I'm gonna start it off with NBA 2K10. I went and listened to NBA 2K10, and when I went through the soundtrack on Spotify and YouTube, I was like, wow, this is genuinely one of the most slept on soundtracks, because you never hear anybody reminisce and say, man, you remember that 2K10 soundtrack? It's probably because 2K11 came out right after it, then you had 2K13. They had like years at the beginning of this decade, they had like years of consecutively great soundtracks, but it really started with NBA 2K10. I've got 12 songs here. First of all, the actual theme song, the theme song is what's the beginning of the NBA 2K10's intro, or NBA 2K 2010's the one that I use in this video. It's called Champion by Game, and that confirmed my theory. Do you guys remember when I did the NBA 2K9 video and I was talking about how I distinctly remember the game being like one of the top ranked 2K players? Well, the very next year he did that theme song, so, and a lot of you told me I was right about that, so that was pretty cool back then. Of course, they took Kanye West Amazing, because the year before that in the playoffs, that was the playoff theme song, and that was just an awesome year. Still like that song to this day. Roots, yes, Roots got you so hyped. You turn on NBA 2K10, if that happened to be the song that starts up, that song just raised your energy immediately. Then you got One Day. Oh man, I'm getting nostalgic. I cannot pronounce the name of the guy who made this song, but that song is beautiful. Help, I'm Alive, Like This, Waving the Flag, They're Everywhere. Bro, there are so many songs in this game that you could genuinely just sit and listen to in or out of the game. I still listen to some of these today. Take my word for it, 2K10, highly underrated soundtrack. If you want some good music or you just want the nostalgic feels and you played this game, just go search up 2K10 soundtrack after this. You will not be disappointed. At number 4, ironically, I have 10 songs here, whereas NBA 2K10 had 12. However, the thing that happens here is I just think that there are songs in 2K12 that I liked more than I liked in NBA 2K10, even though 2K10 actually had more. But yeah, when I went and listened to the songs, I immediately remembered like sitting at the menu and listening to these, the highlight reels at the end of games. 2K12 song that I remember most commonly was that Eminem Fastlane. They had that, and Now's My Time. They used that in a trailer as well, so I'm not sure what was their actual go-to that year, but they had one really good song on there that they used in their Legends trailer. Actually, it's called They Come Back by Project Lionheart. That song will make you nostalgic as fuck, but it's still good though. It's really good. Back when I was making 2K mixes, I always wanted to use that song. Couldn't evade the copyright system, so I never did. Then you got Here We Go, awesome. That song is awesome. Middle Class Ruts, Many Styles. I think 2K12 soundtrack is very underrated as well. You don't really hear people reminisce about this, and I didn't expect it to be this high, but when I actually went through and listened to everything, I could not deny it. Then at number 3, you knew that NBA 2K13 was going to be top 3, and I'm assuming for some of you it's even maybe number 1. Produced by Jay-Z, this had to go hard, right? First of all, it has one of the hardest 2K intros ever, and it's partly because of the song, right? Public Service Announcement. That was just the perfect like mix song for them to put a highlight reel to. They brought Amazing back from NBA 2K9, or NBA 2K10, sorry. Run This Town was on there. There's a lot of popular songs that you would already have heard in passing. Then stuff I hadn't heard. Viva La Vida, I had not heard that song before. Still listen to that today, that goes so hard. Blow the Whistle is alright, I put it on there, that was catchy. Yeah, I don't really feel the need to justify NBA 2K13 being top 3. It's kind of like if you know, you know. If you played that year, you know the soundtrack might have been better than the actual gameplay. At number 2, this is almost more of a 1A, 1B situation. I counted 20 songs in NBA 2K16. And part of it is that they reused some songs, but they added some bangers as well. It was a great mix between songs that you had already heard in the franchise and songs that you could just really sit and listen to. First of all, my favorite song on this whole track, Profit. I listened to that again and again and again. That's one of the only songs in NBA 2K franchise history that I would actually go to the soundtrack and select. I never wasted my time going to the soundtrack. I normally just let it play, but I would go select Profit. Absolute banger. But then they had Rise and Shine by J. Cole. I think that might have been the song that I found J. Cole off of back in like 2012, I believe. Yes, Rise and Shine goes hard. They took 2 songs from NBA 2K11, so that might be cheating, but it was probably 2 songs that everyone loved. You had Bow Down and Little by Little, both songs that are still on the playlist. Lean On and Fragile, both hard as fuck. Blame. Oh yeah, they brought Going On. That song was from NBA 2K9, which I didn't even know until I looked. Going On by Gnarls Barkley. Banger, especially when you're in the park and it's playing in the background. That was just awesome. Bugatti from 2013. All I Do Is Win. Was that song in NBA 2K10? I kind of remember, I don't know, because All I Do Is Win was popular around the time of 2K10. I don't think it was actually in the song, but they had that. We Taken Over. That song was a banger when I was in the 6th grade, so they brought it back 10 years later. So many good songs in this, and that's just what I liked. You might have liked even more, so your count might go higher than 20. NBA 2K16 could easily be number 1, but even though it has more than 2K11, I think 2K11 has more songs that I actually love, so that's gonna go number 1. Also, if you take away the 2 songs that 2K16 took, these would actually be tied. I have 18 songs from 2K11 and 20 in 2K16, so Little by Little and then Bow Down, those are technically shared. Yeah, NBA 2K11, look, I wonder sometimes, because it was such a beautiful game, do we just associate the soundtrack with the game? And no, that's not what happens. 2K11 soundtrack, if you go listen to it right now, I damn near re-added these to my playlist, but on Spotify, I have a playlist for good stuff that I find, and I was like, I'm trying to keep this to songs that the new stuff that I find. So I had to take NBA 2K11 stuff off, but that day that I did this list, I added a bunch. You had Red Roller Skates, Rocket Ship, Symphonies. Do y'all remember? Do y'all remember Symphonies? If you go listen to that over some 2K11 gameplay right now, you will start contemplating your life. They even had, Ron Artest even had a hard song. Aside from Damian Lillard, when do basketball players make hard songs? When do basketball players make bangers? Ron Artest made a banger. Champions was a workout song for me back then, all the way back in 2010, 2011. Crown of Thorns, still listen to that. That is one of the most popular 2K songs on my playlist. That's been there since basically the game came out. They had one of Drake's best songs in Over. And get this, Snoop Dogg's theme song. Y'all remember Snoop Dogg's theme song that they actually used in the commercial? Even that was catchy. Yeah, NBA 2K11 takes the cake for me simply because with 2K16 there's a lot of stuff that I'm gonna vibe out to, and some of it is just stuff that I just like a song like Bugatti and We Dem Boys. It's like, yeah, you know, it's cool to play in the background. But 2K11, I think every song that I've named here, most of the songs that I named here, I actively love. So that was a great year, and for a lot of these years with 2K, they just, you know, soundtrack is one thing that they almost consistently do right. I only had to mute 3 out of 10 of these, so it was kind of like I either hated it or I absolutely loved it. And now let me know what you loved in the comment section. Make your list. How do you rank these soundtracks? What do you have number 1? Because I think it's a very tight race between 11, 16, and 13, particularly between 11 and 16. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Hit the like button, comment, and sub if you enjoyed, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.